Hi, my name is Robin, and I'd like to share my thoughts with you about my favorite Bandor Challenged book. It's Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. It's a book about a young African-American woman in the Deep South, northern Florida, in the 20s and 30s, and her search for fulfillment and a real and lasting love. The book came back to my attention when my daughter read it not too long ago. I had read it previously and forgotten about it, but she was so enthusiastic that I decided to reread it. And I had also lived in North Florida, in the same area where the book takes place, for about 6 years. So I had a better feeling this time around for the setting of the book. The book is a very good read on many different levels. You could read it as a soap opera. It's very dramatic. You could read it as an introduction to rural folk life of African Americans in that period of time. Or you could just read it as an excellent literary work because the language is very, very beautiful. It was first published in 1937, and it was challenged in the mid-90s for its descriptions of sexuality and its language. However, by today's standards, I found it very tame when I reread the book. The descriptions of sexual expression are done in a very lush, poetic, metaphorical language. There's nothing graphic about it. The language is somewhat understandable, that objection, because the N-word is used repeatedly, but not a lot in the book. You have to remember that the writer is doing the dialect of Deep South African Americans, and that word was not inappropriate or out of place for that time. One of the interesting things about this book, in addition to how nicely it's written in the language, is that the life of the author was as interesting as the book. Zora Neale Hurston was the only black student at Barnard College in the 20s. She studied with the famous anthropologist Franz Boas, and she participated in the Harlem Renaissance. During that period of time, though, her work was not as recognized as it should be. Most of the Harlem Renaissance writers were men, and they were interested in writing that had a political theme to it. Her writing was personal in many ways and anthropological. Sometime in the 70s, Alice Walker, the famous novelist, rediscovered and started writing about Zora Neale Hurston, and this brought her back into prominence, and today her talent is as recognized as it should be. Thank you.